Hello everyone, today we are going to look at queen versus pawn in game, and this happens in pawn race. You promote a pawn and opponent is just about to promote a pawn. In this case it's g pawn and it's winning. In some cases it's draw, and we will talk about that in some other video. Today we're going to look at the winning technique. This is an easy example in which you can easily prevent the winning square by playing queen c4. And the point is, you block the queening square, and opponent cannot prevent you to go to queen g8, and you place your queen there, and then you just bring your king closer to the opponent's pawn, and eventually opponent has to give away his or her pawn, and that's it. You win the pawn, and you just checkmate with the queen you have, and then it's you 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 should be able to checkmate with that, right? And that's it. This is how we win from this position. We checkmate opponent's king. So now let's look at slightly different, mm, difficult position in which the opponent king is on f8 and supporting the queening square. This is actually a winning position, but it felt like it's a draw, but it's not. First, you need to give checks to prevent opponent from queening, and eventually you have to give checks in such a way that you force your opponent to go in front of the pawn. First, you go queen c5 checks, and then the most important thing is here. You have to know that you have to keep queen c5 check, sorry, queen f5 check, and then this maneuver, you attack the pawn, opponent goes king f8, you go king f6, and this is the position. Opponent cannot go there because you win the pawn, so opponent has to go king g8, and you bring your king, and you have to repeat this process again and again. You go queen f4 check, and opponent goes king h8, then you have king s5 check, king g8, and then you again bring your king. So you have to keep in mind that the critical square is, f4 and h5. You have to give checks from there in order to force opponent to reach to go in front of the of his pawn. This way you can bring your king and win the opponent's pawn. So now opponent has to go there. That's it. In this case you can checkmate, but in some cases you need to win the pawn by pinning the pawn, and then you win easily. Thank you for watching.